Yeah, hello. My name's Graham Pretty from Your Claim. We're independent property damage assessors, FCA regulated and licensed, and serve in London, South East and East Anglia. So I really want to talk about Sums Insured from the point of view of your insurance policy and what Sums Insured means. And just to sort of open that up a little bit, a lot of people think that your Sums Insured on your policy document is the value of your property, and it's not. And this really needs to be clearly understood. Your Sum Insured is essentially the amount for which your property has been underwritten. So for insurance purposes, a sum insured is not the valuation of the property, it is the cost of the property to be demolished and rebuilt. So it's the construction cost of demolition and rebuilt for property purposes, for build purposes on your buildings policy. On your contents policy, it's just the aggregate cost of your contents, the value of your contents. So that really needs to be clearly understood, because people commonly don't understand what Sums Insured is. Yeah, absolutely. So in your policy document, if you've got a combined buildings and contents policy, there'll be either a sum clearly stipulated, or it'll be maybe an undefined or unlimited figure in there. If you've got unlimited, well, that's the best place to be, because that will never be queried. But the common issue that we have, particularly in the last year, 18 months, has been underinsurance on buildings policies. So the policyholder here has a buildings policy, and it was put to that policyholder that he's that he was 25% underinsured. So that essentially means that the sum insured on the policy document was 25% understated. Now, what that means in real terms is that when the claim is settled, insurers will apply average, and this is a term that they use essentially to discount your claim, and it will mean that they'll in this particular instance that your claim will be deducted 25%, which correlates to the amount of underinsurance. So it's a massive issue. It's become a particularly big issue in the last 2 to 3 years due to Brexit, due to COVID, due to the war on Ukraine, and we've got geopolitical things that we can't control that have caused labour and material inflationary increases. And particularly during 2022, we saw price increases for materials and labour, which were not consistent with the sums insured. So insurance companies were really pushing back on some of these sums insured, and many people were finding that they were simply underinsured. It's definitely read your insurance policy. If you're in any doubt at all, refer it back to your insurance broker who sold you the policy. But it is also your responsibility to make sure that the sum insured is correct. Now, you may need to get a valuation done. Again, this isn't a market valuation. It's the cost of demolishing the building and then rebuilding it again. And that's something that we can certainly help people with. We can connect policyholders with valuation surveyors and get this done. And it's a nominal fee, it's a couple of £100, but it could make a huge amount of difference if you ever do have a claim. So be aware of it. Understand what the what the sum insured means, and make sure that your sums are adequate in the event of a major loss. And we're talking about a fire or a flood or a huge escape of water, which is going to affect all aspects of your house, and ultimately to make sure you're on the right side of the line if peril strikes. Yeah, well, it depends on the level of underinsurance. Insurers have a right in to their policy a clause that if underinsurance is more than 45–50%, then they can repudiate the claim in its entirety. Now, it's unusual for that to happen, but it can if you're massively underinsured. That aside, you know, if the sums insured are between you know, less than 50% and full valuation, they will apply average, and they'll just deduct the equivalent percentage from your claim payout. So you'll basically get short paid on your insurance. Now that's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow when you've been paying insurance premium and you're not getting paid out. But it is policyholders' responsibility to make sure sums insured are correct and you're adequately insured. So that's really important. But what I would say to anybody, regardless of whether they're in a claim situation or not, if they're in any doubt, then please get in touch with us. We can help you quickly and easily tell you if your sums insured are correct.